everybody, and welcome to our MLS Fantasy Experts Podcast, Episode 2, Round 19 Preview. I'm joined by Charlie again today. You want to say hello?
Hello.
So, how did your previous week go? Week 18?
I made a couple of big mistakes, but overall, in the scheme of things, it wasn't an awful week. I was down to 14th from 307th yesterday. When I checked today, gave my boy Casper Shavilko a couple more points, which propelled me up to 292 overall with a score of 173 and a total score of 423, which is not ideal really for this point in the season, but it's still early days and there's still a lot of not many points separating the teams up there, so it's very easy to close that gap. My biggest couple of errors were captaining Maxi Morales, who I didn't even have my team come this podcast last week, over Carlos Vela, which cost me about 25 points there. And if I just had done fixed that mistake alone, I would be in the top 100 right now. My second big one was probably having Beta Shore in my team over Segura, who I have no clue why I did that. I have Segura every double game week over Beta Shore. I guess just don't know what I was thinking, but that cost me another 5 points there. I did have Stuver though. Montero still had 12 despite only playing one game with his injury. Erickson had 12 just in bonus points with no goals for an assist. Baco got 6, which is not bad for a 7, whatever keeper or midfielder he was. He still got a price rise because of that, which set I did 3.4 price rise overall, putting me up to 107.8 now, which is very healthy budget. So yeah, the obvious my front three were really good this week. So what saved me really from not captaining Vela, with the 36 from Vela, 20 from Albert Elise, and 24 from Shabilko. That's almost 75 points right there, which is almost half my score this week. So yeah, 292 overall, not an awful week.
So, I had 175 points this week. I captained Vela and still only had 175 points this week. I made a couple of big mistakes. One being that I didn't know Nata Manua was going to get himself hurt in his first game after getting a clean sheet. Picking the midfielders of Krylock and Vaco, getting a combined 12, which is never good for double game week. 3 points each game isn't great. I did make a couple of changes. I added Blackman since the podcast. He got 12. Adam Lundqvist got himself 12 as well as a switcheroo. So I made a couple of good decisions there. I'm never picking Tinnerholm again though. He had 10 points, but he doesn't get points. He does not get bonus points ever. So I would not go with Tinnerholm again for the rest of the season. I'd rather go for one of their center backs to at least get some defensive bonuses. My overall rank is 324 with a score of 421, so we're 30 apart and we're 2 points apart, so that shows how close this really is. Our scores are literally off by 2, and it's just 30 points that separates us. Alright, let's go into the round 19 preview. So you said your budget was 107.9, correct?
0.8. So yeah, I have a little bit to work with here.
Right, I went up a lot. I'm 106.9. I was 102 point something, so I went up at least 4. Everyone went up this week except for Krylock. I'm pretty sure every single person went up in my team, so.
I had Beta Short, it was a minus 0.5, was the big difference for me.
Yes, that's never good to get that.
So yeah, let's get into our picks. Let's start with our keeper and defenders. Right now, on my bench in my keeperoo is Bill Hamid, but if he doesn't perform, which I'm not sure he will, I feel like that DC New England game could go either way. I'll probably get Raimondo. I have quite a bit left over in my bank this week because I'm anticipating probably having to upgrade my scrub keeper into Raimondo or Kronholm maybe. I have a lot of defenders this week just to save a little bit of budget to have the big players I have in the midfield and up front. Other than this guy right here, which is Jorge Morera. He's been solid offensively, going up and down that right flank for the Timbers. However, word of caution that the Timbers do have their Open Cup quarterfinal, I think it is, against LAFC on Wednesday, which is a short turnaround. However, it is in LA, so it's a short travel distance from Portland, so the travel time shouldn't be a huge issue. Just having that extra game on a Wednesday. But I think if Moreira does play, he's likely to probably offer bonus points and I think probably a clean sheet against Colorado, maybe a goal and an assist as well. My next defender I have is Bastian Schweinsteiger. I know
He can't. He's
Cincinnati's
out.
kind of.
He's out.
Is he?
Yellow card
What?
accumulation.
Thank you, MLS, for updating me on time. So instead of him, I am probably going to have Francisco Calvo now, who I just put into my team. Calvo, very similarly to Schweinsteiger, has been performing well in recent weeks. Calvo with a goal and an assist last Wednesday, showing how he can contribute offensively. And he will probably keep a clean sheet in Cincinnati, even though they have turned it around in recent weeks. I still trust Chicago to keep a clean sheet, even if they haven't been the best defensively over the past couple of weeks. My next defender in my back line is Brooks Lennon. He's only 4.4, which I think is a steal if he plays, especially considering he can play in midfield where he did last week, playing, I think, on the right or left wing. I don't think he'll necessarily play there again this week, but he is another fullback that goes up and down the field when playing. And I don't trust Philadelphia's offense right now. Montero's out, and I think when Montero's out, that hampers Shabilko's scoring rate. You look at like when Shabilko really like got onto his tear, it's when Montero was kind of inserted into that lineup. And then with Montero out, I just don't feel that he'll necessarily match it. He scored on the weekend without him, but it was a scrappy goal late on, and he didn't really look like himself, I thought, throughout the whole game, since that Orlando team was not good. And if Philadelphia were playing a little bit better, Shabilko probably could have grabbed himself a couple more. And then I have two more defenders on my bench as well, for my Ottaru. First is Julian Araujo from the Galaxy. I don't know who's going to start in that defense for Galaxy, especially I think Polenta is out with something. He's red on the site. Don't know if that's accurate or not. But because of that, Romney might get a game. Shelvick might get a game. Araujo played well last week. I think he'll probably be the most likely out of those cheap defenders to start, especially considering like when you look at Steres and Gonzalez, more expensive. I tend to try to lean towards whoever is the cheapest defender in the Galaxy back line. The Galaxy did not do well against San Jose last time they played them, but before that they won like 3-0 or something in San Jose. And I feel like San Jose are kind of like falling a little bit since their kind of tear they were on while they played the Galaxy. Just drawing at home to Orlando, or not Orlando, whoever they drew to last week, not a good result. I have Pedroso as well, with DC Moore's also listed as out for DC. I don't know if that's accurate either, since this app, this site hasn't, I don't think, fully refreshed all of the injuries and suspensions. But I have Pedroso because Moore's listed as red for now. That might change though, depending. But yeah, that was my defense.
You're betting against New England, who are unbeaten in 7 in MLS with 2 defensive players. I feel like
DC's a good team.
Really, they just lost 2-0 to Dallas.
Dallas are also a good team.
Well, if you go back to the first game of the year, the Revs did tie Dallas in Dallas. So if that's a sign for anything,
so that was like their only result in like the first 4 weeks. So.
All right, so I'm basing all of my stuff, which I didn't realize, on Open Cup rotations pretty much, other than my goalkeeper, which is Brian Rowe, playing against Columbus at home, Orlando. They put up a good performance yesterday against Philadelphia, so I hope that can ride. Hopefully he doesn't start in the Open Cup, because Greenwich did start their last Open Cup game, which I think he will do again on Wednesday. Although Orlando have been stuck in Philadelphia for an extra day, so that's less rest for them. It could lead to fatigue. My next defender is Marcelo. He's only 5.1 million. Schweinsteiger is suspended. I think he'll play center back next to Calvo. Marcelo. I don't feel confident that Chicago will keep a clean sheet. Cincinnati are that team. Well, they could be losing 5-0, but they'll score that goal with Ledesma just to make it interesting and to ruin clean sheets for fantasy purposes. My next starting defender is Ruan, which is definitely scheduled to change. I'm betting all in on Orlando defense this week. Um, Ruan is probably going to play in Open Cup, so he might not play in MLS this weekend, but hopefully he does. He's only 5.3 million, and he's very quick. He makes these very good attacking runs down the right hand side, and hopefully he'll have good players around him to get him the opportunity to provide a good service. On my bench, I have two more defenders. An interesting one, to say the least. I have Claude Diona from Portland Timbers. Now, Claude Diona, I just don't know if he's going to play, but if he does play, I think he'll be a very good bargain at 4.7 million. I also have Alex DeJohn from Orlando. I'm going all in on Orlando this week. All in. And I'm hoping that they keep a clean sheet because I have three defensive players, all cheap. Alex DeJohn did play against Philadelphia Union. He got a lot of bonus points. He had 9 clearances, I think, so that's 2 bonus points. Claude Diona, they just came off a clean sheet at Yankee Stadium, which I don't think has been done this season. So yeah, that's my defensive picks right there. I'll go into my midfield picks.
You want to go?
Hello? I think we might be having some slight technical difficulties here. I don't know what's going on. You okay over there?
Can you not hear me?
No, I didn't hear you talking.
I wasn't. Oh, that's just really weird. I was just saying that Cascante will probably start on Wednesday, and that gives Diona more of a likely chance to play. That's a good pick.
That's what I'm thinking, because he's nice and cheap, 4.7 million. So I'll start with the midfield this time. I'm going with a player I do not like. I do not like this player, Felipe Gutierrez, 9.8 million, playing at Vancouver, which is a tough place to play. However, Vancouver do have the Canadian Championship this week on Wednesday, so that's the US Open Cup equivalent. I think Vancouver probably won't play all of their stars, but that's enough for me to think Gutierrez will get a cheesy penalty and get himself like 9 points like he does every week. My second midfielder is Kevin Molino, 8.2 million. I don't think he will start for Minnesota in the Open Cup. I think he'll pretty much be the only good player playing for Minnesota in MLS against Dallas. So I'm going to go with Kevin Molino. He's been on a very good streak of form. He had 15 points, I believe, this previous week in a double game week. And he's really coming back to life to what the player he used to be. My next pick, I hope everyone has this player. You gotta have him this week. Home against Cincinnati. Cincinnati can't defend. Nico Gaitan, 9.6 million, coming off a huge first game in the double game week against Atlanta, and he will provide, hopefully, some more of that offensive entertainment for us. And my last midfielder, this is a must-have as well, 11.6 million, Diego Valeri, home against Colorado. Although Colorado have turned it around, I still feel like Diego Valeri is still a must-have this week.
Yeah, good picks, all good picks. I have quite a few similar players. Felipe Gutierrez was another player I was thinking about coming start of the week, but he's not in my team now. Depending on lineups this weekend, that might change, though, considering who I have, which is his first player, Luis Nani. I know that Orlando do play midweek, but Nani, I think, is essential to that Orlando team. When you look at, he came off the bench last week against Philadelphia, still got an assist. I think they need him to do well, and Columbus is a must-win game. So I feel like they really have to use Nani. But if he doesn't play, I'm looking at a couple of players here. I'm looking at Sebastian Blanco, if I can afford it come start of that game. It really a lot depends on Chicago and Orlando's lineups, and those games are very similar in time, so I'll be able to shuffle things around if I see Nani not playing. But he's my first midfielder. If he plays, I think he'll go off. If he doesn't, no big. I could get rid of him for somebody else. Second midfielder I've got here is Nico Gaitan as well. Once again, very solid. Cincinnati, not great defensively. He'd probably do well. And I'm doubling down on that Chicago midfield actually with Alexander Katai. I know it came out early last week for Nemanja Nikolic, but I think Katai is another player that really does well for Chicago. Gets like 4 or 5 points plus maybe if goal like 9 or 10. He does well when he plays, and I think he'll probably get the start. Maybe they were taking him out just as a change of shape when they were chasing a goal against Kansas City and needed that second striker. But I still think that will not affect Katai's minutes too much coming into this game week. My final midfielder I have is regular player instead of my scrub, who's my fifth. I have Diego Valeri as well. He's got a good match against Colorado, and in the Colorado game they had at the start of the year, the Snowpocalypse game, he had 15. And so it just shows that Valeri does like playing against Chicago. The reason I ghosted Sebastian Blanco this week, for now,
He's too
is
expensive.
he's too expensive. Exactly, 11 mil. I look at him as a very similar player to Alexander Katai, who's 2 mil cheaper, and I'd say it's a better matchup. So that's the only my reasoning behind not having him. But if he was just a little bit more cheaper, I'd have him for sure, and I still might if Nani doesn't play. I just change some things around.
Do you think Pozuelo's a good pick this week? I looked at him. I looked at
Pause.
him at Montreal.
Montreal's that weird team. It's just very hit or miss. Altidore might be back and get that connection back. I'd say get Pozuelo. Josie starts, and if he doesn't, stick away from him.
That's interesting. So you think Nani is a good pick this week, huh? Over, say, the likes of Felipe Gutierrez or Safir Taider or even Ladero this week.
I have Nani as my number one midfielder coming this week. Columbus has probably the
I think what he's trying to say here is that Columbus are very bad. I said this last week. Columbus are very, very, very bad right now. They just blew another lead, unfortunately.
Oh my god. Jesus, my Discord is clearly not having a good day today. But yeah, everything as I just said. I got Nani as probably having the best matchup this week. And if he plays, he'll do well. That's all I'm saying. But you got to make sure he plays, which is, I'd say, probably like a 50-50 chance.
Alright, you want to do your forwards now?
Yeah. I'll just say my first forward I have this week. I think he's the obvious pick this week. Is probably the number one pick is Brian Fernandez for Portland. He has never played Colorado before, and I think he'll be pleasantly surprised at how weak their defense has been and is. I like him this week. He's a goal scorer. Didn't score against NYCFC. It's the first game he hasn't, but he's just. I think that won't stop him from scoring. He had a goal disallowed for offsides, rightly so, but it just shows that he's just a goal scorer and he'll put it in the net. And I think he'll do that probably even a couple of times this weekend. I'll just go through all my three of my forwards. My next one is I think the difference maker this week for me for a differential pick. I have Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Whoa.
He's dropped on a 10.3. He's very cheap. It's a derby game, and I think Zlatan's a player who will step up. San Jose, they did just draw at home to Orlando, even though if they were in a good vein of form before that. I feel like it's fallen off a little bit, and Zlatan is the type of player who will take advantage of that. And then I have my bench. I have J.J. Williams, just in case. He's 4 mil. He might do well. He might come on.
What?
He's 4 mil. I mean, I had no more budget, or I have budget left, but I might as well just have him since I have a switcheroo kind of. It's a 3-for-1 if J.J. Williams does well. Might get a price rise. You never know. It's just a whatever pick.
Zardes is going to be back.
J.J. Williams might come on and score, though. You never know.
Alright, so You're not going with. I thought you were gonna say the completely obvious pick of Carlos Vela, who
No,
I
I
do
am.
have. However, this is bound to change. Vela's played every MLS game this season. He did play one. I believe he's played both Open Cup games this season as well.
If there's a game to miss, it's gonna be this game. Houston is hot, and it's just
They
it's
just
a
lost to
30-year old.
Cincinnati, though. I don't
They
know.
lost Cincinnati away, and they just won the Red Bulls, crushing them at home.
I'm gonna go with Vela. That's bound to change if he doesn't start, which I feel like he might not if he plays the Open Cup game on Wednesday, then having to play on Friday. I might just sneak in Josie Altidore. Um, again, I don't. It's just it's a tough week for strikers this week, other than Brian Fernandez, who I do have as well. I think the only obvious one is Brian Fernandez, maybe Wayne Rooney, but I'm not gonna bet against New England. Um, my other striker, this is my differential pick. He's in my Otteru right now, but this is my differential pick. CJ Sapong. He's been starting at striker over Nemanja Nikolic. He's only 7.3 million, and I feel like he's bound to score a goal against this Cincinnati defense, who just they're just have they kept many clean sheets this season? I don't think so. But CJ Sapong, he did score a couple of times against Atlanta. Got himself a hefty price rise this week. So I think that Sapong is the right option at striker for me.
Can I ask you just a couple of players that I've been thinking about that I do not have in right now? Have you thought about Nico Ladero, home to
I
Atlanta?
did I did think about Nico Ladero. I do not have the budget right now. That could change. Felipe Gutierrez could change once I see the lineups too, because I just don't like him. But anyways, anyone else?
That's it for me. I feel like we've covered all of the obvious picks and the players that I've been thinking about. Really, anybody we've mentioned here, you could have in your team. It's all just basically luck at the end of the day. You never know who's gonna play well. Just have to go with your gut and just what the stats say, really. So yeah, just I wish you guys good luck in the upcoming week. Oh wait, captains. Let's go to our captains.
Yes. Now I want to hear what you have to say.
I think you probably know who I can captain. I am a Timbers fan. Diego Valeri's at home. I see that. I captain Diego Valeri. I'm gonna be at that game. Just another extra thing to root for.
Good to see we changing it up this week. I also have Diego Valeri as my captain this week. He didn't have the greatest game against NYCFC, but that's going to be a completely different game to what they have against Colorado. I think they're probably going to have most of the ball. Valeri takes all the set pieces. That's bonus point central right there. Probably if he scores, it's a bonus, but he's going to get most of his points passing wise, assists, bonus points. Who else would you captain if it wasn't for Fernandez or Valeri?
If Nani, I knew Nani was gonna start. Luis Nani.
I would say Nico Gaitan, but he could get 3 points or he could get 13
Yeah,
points.
Gaitan's susceptible to just having a bad week, and it'll be Katai shining. That's why I have both of them, just in case. One of them's got to do well against Cincinnati. Or both.
That game could just end up 0-0. We could all be wrong and look like fools.
No, zero chance. Cincinnati not bunker no matter who they play.
So you don't have Wayne Rooney this week?
No,
No.
I have Zlatan.
I feel like
Zlatan's one of the first players I put in.
that's
He's
very
broken
bold.
his duck. He's gonna do well.
All right. Make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you for the support on our first video, and we'll see you next Monday.
Goodbye.